Elly De La Cruz is rewriting the record books, and he's just getting started. The Cincinnati Reds Phenom has become the first player in Major League Baseball history to record at least 115 extra base hits and 115 stolen bases within his first 300 games. But it's not just about the stats, it's about the way he's doing it. With explosive power, elite speed, and a flair that has Reds fans buzzing and opposing pitchers terrified. In a league filled with stars like Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, and Juan Soto, could De La Cruz be the next face of MLB? Today, we're diving deep into his historic rise, his jaw-dropping stats, and why he might be the most electrifying player in baseball right now. We'll break down the record-breaking numbers, the story behind his rise, and what history tells us about players who burst onto the scene this way. And finally, we'll ask the big question. Is Elly De La Cruz the real deal? Or just another flash in the pan?
Welcome to the show. This kid is electric.
Let's start with the milestone that's turning heads across the league. 115 extra base hits and 115 stolen bases in just 300 games. Think about that for a second. That's nearly one extra base hit and one stolen base in every 3 games. A rate that most players can only dream of maintaining. For context, consider that Rickey Henderson, widely regarded as the greatest base stealer of all time, needed around 250 games to reach that many stolen bases. And while Henderson was a master of getting on base and creating havoc with his legs, De La Cruz is doing it with both power and speed. To find a true comparison, we'd have to look at players like Eric Davis, who combined power and speed in the 1980s. In 1987, Davis posted 37 home runs and 50 stolen bases. But unlike De La Cruz, he was 25 and already a veteran by that point. De La Cruz is doing it as a 24-year-old in just his second full season. And it's not just about the numbers, it's the way he's getting them. His extra base hits aren't just blue doubles, they're laser shot line drives that leave the bat at over 110 miles per hour. His stolen bases aren't just taking advantage of weak-armed catchers. They're bold, aggressive plays that dare pitchers to stop him. And that combination of power and speed has made De La Cruz one of the most exciting players to watch in the game right now. Elly De La Cruz wasn't always a household name. In fact, he was almost overlooked entirely. Born and raised in the Dominican Republic, De La Cruz was discovered by the Cincinnati Reds as a raw but talented prospect. At the time, he was just a skinny, wiry kid with a big swing and even bigger dreams. But in a country flooded with baseball talent, De La Cruz was just another name on a long list of prospects. When the Reds signed him in 2018 for just $65,000, he wasn't considered a can't-miss talent. He wasn't even in the top 30 international prospects that year. But De La Cruz was determined to prove the doubters wrong. He hit the weight room, packed on muscle, and transformed his swing into a powerful compact weapon. In the minors, he started flashing his elite speed, stealing bases with ease and stretching singles into doubles, doubles into triples. De La Cruz had an outstanding 2022 season, earning numerous accolades, including being named the Reds' Minor League Player of the Year. He was also the first minor league player since George Springer in 2013 to bat .300 with at least 25 home runs and 40 stolen bases. Elly De La Cruz burst onto the major league scene in 2023, debuting with the Cincinnati Reds on June 6th and instantly captivating fans with his exceptional speed and power. In 98 games, the 21-year-old shortstop hit .235 with 13 home runs, 44 RBIs, and 35 stolen bases. He also added 15 doubles and 7 triples to his impressive extra base hit total. De La Cruz's impact was immediate, as he became the youngest player since 1972 to hit for the cycle on June 23rd against the Atlanta Braves. Statistically, he showed flashes of brilliance, recording some of the hardest hit balls and fastest sprint speeds in MLB. For example, he recorded the fastest tracked infield assist of the StatCast era at 97.9 miles per hour. However, his offensive production was inconsistent, marked by a .300 on-base percentage and a high strikeout rate of 33.7%. While his raw talent was undeniable, De La Cruz's rookie season highlighted the need for further refinement of his plate discipline and consistency. Despite his inconsistencies, his stolen base total was the most by a Reds rookie since Billy Hamilton's 56 in 2014. What makes Elly De La Cruz so special? It's the rare combination of power and speed. Two elite tools that rarely coexist at such a high level. Let's break it down. At 6'5" and 200 pounds, De La Cruz has the imposing build of a power hitter but the blazing speed of a leadoff man. Most players fit one of those profiles. Not both. Power hitters typically sacrifice speed for muscle, while speedsters often lack the raw power to hit the ball out of the ballpark consistently. De La Cruz is the exception. In 2024, he posted 25 home runs and 67 stolen bases, putting him in elite company. But those raw numbers don't tell the whole story for that year. His average exit velocity ranks in the top 15% of MLB, 92.6, 110 miles per hour. When De La Cruz makes contact, the ball explodes off his bat like a missile. Consider this. His hardest hit ball last season clocked in at 114.8. This occurred on June 7th when he hit his first career home run, a 458-foot blast against the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's the kind of exit velocity you'd expect from Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton, not a player who also leads his team in stolen bases. And that's what makes De La Cruz so dangerous. Opposing pitchers can't just pitch around him. If they challenge him inside, he can turn on a fastball and launch it 450 feet. If they go away, he has the speed to leg out a double or steal second. It's a no-win situation. On the base paths, he's just as explosive. His sprint speed ranks among the top 3% in the league. To put that in perspective, De La Cruz goes from home to first in about 3.8 to 4 seconds, a time typically reserved for leadoff hitters and defensive specialists, not middle-of-the-order power bats. In 2024, he attempted a steal in nearly 30% of his opportunities, showing a level of aggression that keeps pitchers and catchers constantly on edge. That fear factor can disrupt a pitcher's rhythm, leading to more mistakes in the zone, mistakes that De La Cruz is more than capable of punishing. What's even scarier is that he's still refining his game. His swing mechanics are still evolving, and his plate discipline is still a work in progress. If he continues to improve his strike zone awareness and lay off low and away breaking pitches, his power numbers could climb even higher. So what's the ceiling for a player with 30 home run power and 50 stolen base speed? Think about players like Eric Davis, Barry Bonds, or even Ronald Acuna Jr., all of whom flirted with historic 30-50 or 40-40 seasons. If De La Cruz keeps developing, we could be talking about one of the most dynamic offensive threats in the game.
Cincinnati Reds taking the game by storm last year.
But here's the big question. Can Elly De La Cruz sustain this level of performance? Baseball history is filled with players who burst onto the scene, put up incredible numbers, and then vanish just as quickly. We've seen it before. We'll probably see it again. But is De La Cruz different? Let's start with Yasiel Puig. In 2013, Puig hit .319 with 19 home runs in just 104 games. He was electric, a highlight machine in every aspect. But his aggressiveness became his downfall. Pitchers adjusted, feeding him a steady diet of breaking balls low and away. Puig never made the necessary adjustments, and his production steadily declined. Then there's Nomar Mazara. In 2016, Mazara hit 20 home runs as a rookie for the Texas Rangers. At just 21, he was considered a future star. But instead of building on that breakout year, Mazara struggled to adapt to off-speed pitches and never recaptured his rookie form. So what about De La Cruz? After his rookie season, pitchers started exploiting his weaknesses, throwing more breaking pitches out of the zone. For a while, it worked. He batted just around .220 through the first month of 2024. But unlike Puig and Mazara, De La Cruz made adjustments. He shortened his swing, started using the whole field, and raised his average nearly 50 points by mid-season. The other factor? Staying healthy. With his explosive speed and aggressive style, he's already missed time due to hamstring strains and wrist injuries. If he wants to maintain his production, he'll need to learn how to manage his body better, much like Ronald Acuna Jr., who adjusted his base running approach after a major ACL injury. Ultimately, De La Cruz has shown he can adjust. But to sustain elite production, he'll need to keep adapting, stay disciplined at the plate, and stay on the field. So, is Elly De La Cruz the next big thing in Major League Baseball? His combination of power, speed, and swagger suggests he just might be. But what do you think? Will De La Cruz become MLB's next superstar, or will he fizzle out like so many hyped prospects before him? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into baseball's biggest rising stars.